My dad once told me, you only get up early if you don't have to for one of two things, fishing or golf. We've already played golf. Time to go fishing.
It was a great morning to have Captain Mark with Real-Time Guide Service meet us at the dock to take us out for a beautiful morning on the lake.
Ready to go fishing?
I'm ready, man. Let's go catch it.
Let's go catch it. All right. What are we fishing for today?
Stripers and hybrids.
And just like that, we were all loaded up and headed out to find the perfect spot to start fishing. Or as Captain Mark says, catching. When we got there, Captain Mark showed me the proper way to bait and explained why this spot next to the dam was his first choice.
First thing in the morning right now, they're pumping water back into the lake. What happens when they pump water in and it splits, it creates a whirlpool right in here, pulls all the bait fish to the top. All the hybrids and stripers know it. They all come down here and feed first thing in the morning.
With hooks in the water, we hung out waiting for the first fish to bite.
Oh, I'm kidding, I didn't catch it. Got one. Here we go. I once caught a fish this big. It was like 2 minutes ago. All right, we didn't get into them in our first spot, but that's okay. Lake Oconee a big lake, lots of fish to be had. On to spot number 2.
As we headed out in search of the big one, Captain Mark showed me all the great features on his boat, and some of the cool secret spots on the lake where he'd caught a few monsters.
Mark, you mind if I drive?
Not happening.
Okay.
In hindsight, that was probably a good call on his part. In no time at all, we were at our next spot, and for reasons unbeknownst to me at the time, Captain Mark grabbed a pool cue and began tapping on the bottom of the boat.
What happens, all these fish we're fishing for, striped bass and hybrid bass that are in this lake, every single one of them started their life out in a swimming pool, in a hatchery.
Really?
None of them are born in this lake.
Really?
When they're in that swimming pool, when they're first born, before they put them in the lake, they feed them. They take a 5 to a 10-gallon bucket, they dump the food in there, and they beat the bucket on the side of the pool to get all the food out.
So that's the sound they're used to?
There's beating the bucket on the side of the pool. So I always keep a pool stick on the boat. And this time of year especially, when the fish are down deep, it has a tendency to call them up.
Here, fishy, 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 fishy. Y'all come get it. That's what that means.
Honed over decades of experience, Captain Mark's fishing instincts are second to none, but his technology is pretty cool too.
We have 2 different technologies.
All right.
This is sonar, and you can see that's a fish coming up right there. That's a fish coming up right there. Been around since World War II. You remember the old submarine movies? Send out a ping, he hits something, sends a signal back, will tell you where that is. Now, this is the newest stuff, and it's called structure scan. This is literally taking an MRI picture under the water and sending the picture back to us. Every time you see a dot, that's a fish. If the machine would let me zoom in close enough, you could literally count his scales because it would show them to you.
With sonar pinging and pool cue in hand, we waited for the fish to start biting. And even though science was on our side, we didn't pull in the monster that morning.
That's my fish. That's how good I am. Let's put him back. He needs to grow.
While we waited, I had a chance to chat with Captain Mark about a few things.
So do you ever have any celebrities that come down to Lake Oconee?
We did. We had Chris Pratt came through. It's been this past spring. He wanted to come down and go fishing. I called one of the guys that I use that does primarily bass fishing because that's what he wanted to do. Guy's name was Phil Osborne, and he took Chris out bass fishing.
I heard they call him Uncle Phil.
He might have by the end of the trip because it was a really, really good trip. They got on the bass early and often, and he ended up with, I think it was 4 bass over 5 pounds, which is really good. Now this is a really good bass lake, but that's a really good day if you're bass fishing and you catch 4 bass over 4 pounds.
So you mentioned that this is a good bass lake, and I've heard you say this is the best fishing lake in Georgia. So tell me, back that statement up for me.
This lake has more pounds of fish per square acre than any lake in the state of Georgia. If it's got more pounds of fish per square acre, there's more fish here to be caught than any other lake in the state. It's very simple, and it's scientific.
You hear that, Lanier? You hear that, Hartwell? Sinclair? Lake Oconee's where it's at.
The striper and hybrid may have been camera shy that day, but Captain Mark's clients have the photos of their catches to prove Lake Oconee is one of the best places to fish in Georgia.
Catching fish or not, I haven't had that much fun in a long time. Thank you so much, Captain Mark.
Man, it's been my pleasure.
It's been a good time. I tell you what, fishing, spending a beautiful morning out here on beautiful Lake Oconee, yet another reason to visit Lake Oconee.